The rain had just begun to fall when I saw her standing in the middle of the crosswalk, trembling, her eyes glistening with something that wasn't just water. It was the look of someone who'd lost everything in a moment and was trying desperately not to let the world see her fall apart. I didn't know her name then. I didn't know the storm she was carrying inside. But that moment changed the entire course of my life. Before we dive deeper, if you believe in kindness, forgiveness, and second chances, please take a second to like this video, subscribe to Kind of Heart, and share it with someone who might need a little warmth today. Her name was Ariel Winters, and she was the kind of person who seemed to glow quietly, like a candle flickering against the wind. We met in college, her, the literature student who loved quoting obscure poets, me, Rowan Hale, a business major who mostly cared about numbers, deadlines, and never getting emotionally entangled. She wasn't my type. I wasn't hers. Yet somehow, we kept crossing paths in the library, the coffee shop near campus, even the same volunteer club that cleaned up parks on weekends. Every time, she'd flash that shy smile, the one that made the rest of the world blur for a second. One evening, I found her sitting alone on a bench outside the student center, her phone clutched tightly in her hands, eyes red from crying. I hesitated, then sat beside her. She looked up, startled, then gave a weak laugh. "You ever wish you could just disappear for a while?" she asked softly. I nodded, not knowing what to say. "My ex," she whispered, "he's dating my best friend now. And they're coming to the event tomorrow." I didn't know why, but I heard myself say, half joking, "I'll pretend to be your boyfriend. That'll show them." I expected her to laugh it off, to roll her eyes and say no. But she looked at me, really looked, and said, "If we're going to do that, we'll need practice. No one will buy it otherwise." Her tone was calm, but her eyes carried a challenge. I smiled. "Practice?" "Yes," she said, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "You can't fake connection. People can see through that." The next week, we started practicing. Coffee after class turned into walks by the river. Lunch breaks became long conversations about childhood dreams and family. She told me about her late father, how he used to call her his brave little firefly, and how the world felt a little dimmer after he was gone. I told her about growing up with a single mom who worked 2 jobs to keep me in school. What started as a joke slowly turned into something deeper, something neither of us expected. When the event finally came, we walked in together, hand in hand. I remember how her fingers trembled slightly in mine before she squeezed them tight, as if drawing strength from the contact. Her ex, Chase, froze when he saw us. His smile faltered, his eyes narrowing just a bit. I felt Ariel's breath hitch beside me. Without thinking, I wrapped my arm around her waist and whispered, "You've got this." She smiled up at me, and for the first time that night, her eyes stopped shaking. The rest of the evening went surprisingly smooth. We laughed, danced, and even won the cutest couple trivia game. But somewhere between the laughter and the way she leaned her head on my shoulder, I realized something terrifying. I wasn't pretending anymore. After the event, I walked her home through quiet, lamplit streets. The air was thick with the smell of rain and blooming jasmine. She turned to me and said softly, "Thank you, Rowan, for being there." I shrugged, trying to play it cool, but my chest ached in ways I couldn't explain. She smiled faintly. "You know," she said, "you're actually pretty convincing as a boyfriend." That night, I couldn't sleep. Every word, every glance, every moment replayed in my head. I told myself it was just the adrenaline, the leftover nerves. But deep down, I knew the truth. I had fallen for her. Over the next few months, our practice continued long after we needed to pretend. We studied together, watched movies, cooked disastrous dinners in my apartment, and took late-night drives to nowhere. She started calling me Ro, and every time she did, it felt like home. She brought light into places I didn't even realize had grown dark, but life, as it always does, had other plans. One afternoon, I noticed her sitting quietly in the library, staring blankly at a page for over 10 minutes. When I asked what was wrong, she brushed it off. "Just tired," she said. But something in her tone, something heavy and distant, made my stomach twist. Over the following weeks, she began to withdraw. Fewer texts, shorter conversations, the spark in her laughter fading. Then came the night that broke me. She showed up at my door, her eyes hollow, her hands trembling. "Rowan," she said, voice cracking, "I have to tell you something." I led her inside, and she sat on the couch, clutching her sleeves like she was holding herself together. "It's my mom," she whispered. "She's sick. Cancer. And it's spreading fast." I felt my heart drop. She tried to smile through the tears. "I'm going back home for a while to take care of her. I don't know how long I'll be gone." I wanted to tell her I'd go with her, that I'd be there no matter what. But she shook her head. "You have your life here, Rowan. You've got your internship, your classes. Don't throw that away for me." We stood in silence for a long time before she leaned forward and pressed her forehead against mine. "Thank you," she whispered, "for making me feel loved again." And then she was gone. 4 months, I didn't hear from her. I texted a few times, called once, but got no response. Life became a blur of deadlines and empty days. I threw myself into work, into anything that could numb the ache of missing her. But nothing worked. Every sunset reminded me of her laughter, every quiet evening felt like an echo of what could have been. Then, one day, a letter arrived in the mail. The handwriting was unmistakable. My hands trembled as I opened it. "Dear Ro, I don't know where to begin. Mom passed away last month. It's been hard. Harder than I can put into words. But I wanted to thank you. Because of you, I remembered what it felt like to laugh, to hope, to feel alive again. You gave me something beautiful to hold on to when everything else was falling apart. I'm not ready to come back yet. I need time to heal. But please, don't wait for me. Live your life. Be happy. And know that somewhere out there, there's a girl who loves you, quietly and endlessly. Ariel." I sat there for a long time, the letter shaking in my hands, tears blurring the ink. I wanted to scream, to run to her, to beg her to let me in. But I knew she needed space. And love, real love, sometimes means stepping back. 2 years passed. I graduated, moved to another city, started working for a small marketing firm. Life slowly found its rhythm again, but a part of me always remained somewhere back in that college town, under the soft glow of campus lights, where a girl named Ariel taught me what love really meant. Then one Saturday morning, while grabbing coffee at a cafe near the park, I heard a familiar laugh behind me. My heart stopped. I turned, and there she was. Ariel. Her hair was shorter now, her eyes a little older, but that same warmth still danced there. "Ro," she said softly. I couldn't speak. I just stared. She smiled, the kind that melted every frozen part of my heart. I moved back. I'm teaching now. Literature, of course. For a moment, the whole world seemed to fade, leaving just us, two people who'd walked through storms and somehow found their way back to each other. She stepped closer, tears glistening in her eyes. "I kept thinking about what you said that day," she whispered. "That we should practice. Maybe we could try again. For real this time?" I laughed, my voice breaking. "We'll need practice," I teased, echoing her old words. She smiled through her tears. "No one will buy it otherwise." And just like that, the years of distance, pain, and longing melted away. We weren't pretending anymore. We never had been. Sometimes, love isn't about grand gestures or perfect timing. Sometimes, it's about two broken souls who meet, fall apart, and find their way back, not because fate demanded it, but because their hearts never stopped calling out for one another. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Kind of Heart. Your support helps us keep telling stories that remind the world how powerful love, hope, and kindness can be. Before you go, comment below, do you believe that true love finds its way back, no matter how much time passes? I'd love to read your thoughts. And as the sun rose that morning, painting the park in gold, I realized something. Sometimes, the best love stories start as a joke and end as a forever.